mountain. What's up, Panda? Welcome in. Welcome in.
Woo!
Ah!
What's up with it, motherfucker?
What's up? What's up, baby? Did you miss me? I wish I don't remember the entire speech of that, but it is literally a villain speech. You know what I mean? Like, you know how if you watch like The Incredibles, you have like that syndrome monologue where he's like, what is it? He's like, when everyone's super, no one will be, you know? It's like every time when someone gets caught in some like dramatic like thing, they get incredibly melodramatic about it. You know what I mean? Or not melodramatic, just dramatic. It really, like, I'm serious. Like, have you seen that whole video? You know? Where it's like, I have quoted it a few times, but this motherfucker was like, you can sit here and step on my throat, but I'm telling from time after time after time again, I will rise from the ashes. Motherfucker, I've been shot 16 times and I'm still breathing. And I'm like, buddy, you fuck kids. Allegedly. Like, you need to chill. Like, what the hell? Why are you so excited about this? If he were to revive, that would be his intro. Yeah, no, for sure. But it's like for some, like, serious allegations. You know what I mean? And it's like, technically, it's not legal stuff, but, like, in my opinion, if it was an official investigation, that was the only thing that was stopping him from getting arrested from that. But he has the audacity to be like, I will rise from the ashes. I will rise from the sexual assault allegations. Time and time and time a fucking again. I will rise. It's just kind of insane. I'm just saying it, you know? It's kind of fucking crazy, dude. And then there's a couple of other YouTubers like that. Fucking Professor Flowers had the same fucking thing, you know? And it's insane. Like, whenever they're in the wrong, they really do be making a fucking villain arc, you know what I mean? And then they always act where it's like, you know, you're lucky that all I want to do is come back. I don't know that one. She was basically like talking about like white genocide or some shit. And then she came back and she was like, you're lucky all we want is just the stuff that we deserve. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's fucking insane, dude. I'm just like, yo, chill out. And yeah, she made that exact same kind of like speech. It's like these villain speeches actually do come from like real people. For a while, I never knew that, like, motherfuckers actually do start doing shit like that. The ukulele girl, what was her name? Miranda Sings? That motherfucker, have you... Okay, have you seen the video where her apology video was, like, turned into a Guitar Hero level? And, like, you watch some guy, like, play it? Yeah, that's my favorite. I need to find that clip and keep it in my vault somewhere, just in case, like, when I edit a video, I want to throw that in there. It's like hilarious. Okay, hang on. Like, we're getting kind of crazy there. Let me draw you with a ukulele. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all guys get a little edgy. I don't want you guys drawing me with like potential sexual like allegations. I feel like it's just bait for someone 6 years from now to be like, he's a piece of shit, and everyone knew it because they drew him with the Miranda Sings ukulele situation. I do sometimes worry about that. Like, I know I'm way too small for people to give a shit about, but like, there's definitely like when someone is in your like reach, there is like they find every single thing that could be taken like out of context. They will clip chip the fuck out of you, and they will be like, see, he's always been a cunt. And it's like you can't, like, you know, just like, you can't have an argument that's actually based off of substantial evidence. You just have to be like, everything has been taken out of context. It's literally like blood sports. I'm gonna die. This map sucks, dude. Yeah, I don't even know where to go from here. I feel like it's more shitty, it's more for shitty apologies, like when people, copy the Logan Paul apology video. Yeah, and that's kind of like based off of like the T. Martin video. I think T. Martin, he was the CSGO gambling guy. And, like, he was in, like, a Call of Duty thing. And, like, you know, he was found that he was the owner of, like, this gambling site, but he made a video like, guys, I found this cool site. And then when he apologized, he had like a golden retriever in his lap. Always like, how am I gonna apologize to these people? You know? Honestly, I'll be real honest with you. I think every single apology video that starts with a deep sigh, like as soon as you get on, if you hear, guys, it's time to talk about something really serious right now. I may have diddled Freddy Fazbear unconsensually. You know what I mean? Like it's always like this like super performative. Like any apology video that you see that is like, you deserve better and I should have been better and I apologize, and like instead I was in my little corner of the internet assuming that it would be okay, and that's not okay, guys. You deserve better. Yeah, and it's like, okay, stop like jerking us off. Like you did like something absolutely insane and you should probably actually own up to it. Yeah, it's like everyone like magnetizes it. It's like you should just probably like actually like just go off of the criticisms, you know, and be like, all right, here's what's right, here's what's wrong. You know, I apologize for doing this. This is, you know, like it should be like a, I'll try to do better. I fucked up. I get it. But like everyone seems to kind of like, hey guys, I know I tickled kids, but everyone makes mistakes at that like and sub button. That's crazy. That's a crazy chat message. Hey guys, welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play. Now, in regards to the sexual allegations... Oh, not mid-Minecraft episode, in the intro. You know it's serious when it's the intro. When you have to replace the Ridge Wallet sponsorship with a sexual allegation apology video, that's when you know. Oh, fuck me. Alright, well, this might be the end of my life. Oh, this is even worse. I would have preferred if it was just the end. Matter of fact, we're just gonna go ahead and restart. But I can imagine someone doing it. Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. Like, I think... So, one of the things I want to try, in case I ever do actually gain a following, and this is a big if, is I do want to, like, you know, attempt to be as, like, genuine as possible. I want my weird goofiness to be, like, the product of myself and not a character, because I feel like people would like, okay, if you want to talk about like monologues and apology videos, you could look at the most recent shit with like Dr. Disrespect. There was a time where like he cheated on his wife, and his response was like him out of character fucking crying and shit. But then you look at the recent one about like DMing children. You know, he keeps going like, you fucking idiots, nothing was illegal, because like in the state, like she was a 17-year-old, you know, or something like that. I like allegedly, okay? I can't, like, I don't have money to get sued, so I'm just gonna, you know, allegedly, my opinion, this is my recalling of it, not calling anyone out legally. I don't have a lawyer, do not sue my ass. But, you know, you could tell the difference between him actually fucking up and feeling bad and sorry about it, and the recent stuff where he was like, you know, doing Discord whispers with a kid, you know, allegedly. Like, you could tell the stark difference. One of them is him completely out of his fucking, like, costume. He looks like a completely different person. And the other one is him doing his normal, like, shtick where he's like, you fucking idiots. You fucking cowards hiding behind your little screens. Hiding behind your screens. You're mean behind your screens. You know? And it's just like... I do, like, if something does come up, I fucking, you know, hope not. You know... But, like, if that does, then, like, I will try to be as direct as possible. Because I think, like, even if you do fuck up, I think people understand. I guess it really depends on what your actions are in specifics, you know? That's probably what matters more, is, like, what you did, and then, like, you know, how you act towards it. Because if you think that you can't, like, be, like, deplatformed, no matter how big you are, you can. I mean, I think Dr. Disrespect had, like, 0 chat messages in a stream a while ago. I didn't watch, like, the video, but I was watching, like, I saw, like, the thumbnail. It may not be true. Honestly, it may not be true. There's a lot of shit, you know, with that guy, and I'm not necessarily, you know, worried about him. You know, I don't pay attention to his shit, but he was a topic of discussion for a while. And it's like, you absolutely can lose your platform. This is absolutely a privilege to be on here, and you do have to at least owe some sort of respect to the guys that pay your fucking rent money, you know. Have you seen Mr. Beast insulting someone on Twitter because an artist liked them better than Mr. Beast? Wait, what? No, I haven't. Mr. Beast needs to chill out. This motherfucker has, like, millions or billions of dollars. He works with Logan and Jake Paul, and he's got, like, this fucking, like, infamous persona that, like, 13-year-olds love. He's basically like Keemstar. He needs to, like, just chill the fuck out. Like, you've kind of won. Once you appeal to the 13-year-olds, you know, they always come. You know, every fucking year there's more 13-year-olds. If you just maintain that sort of persona, you will forever be, like, famous, you know. So the weird, like, insecurity about why he did that with fucking Jacksepticeye. Jacksepticeye was, like, in a lie detector, and they were like, "Do you like Mr. Beast?" And he's like, "No." And he explained, he was like, they pulled the fun away from YouTube. Instead, it's all like a numbers money game kind of deal, you know. He doesn't realize that he's a company, not a person. Yeah, so definitely something that I would mention 100%. If you are big enough to have, like, brands and shit, or just big enough to have, like, thousands of people watching you consistently, you have to go into, like, kind of a PR mode. You do have to, like, filter out what you say, because even if you say some weird shit, you know, off the cuff, it could result in a lawsuit, because thousands of people are watching your ass. They will end up clipping it and sending it to that person. It could be like a defamation lawsuit or something. You just gotta be careful, you know? Fuck me, that's the poison one. Hey. But yeah, no, I mean, like, at some point, you have to realize that if you get a following, you get more viewers. I believe that you should just get used to becoming, like, sort of a PR company, you know? Filter your shit out. That doesn't mean you have to lose all genuinity, but there's definitely a responsibility to your platform. For example, PewDiePie is a great example of this. He was playing PUBG, and then he said an Xbox Live gamer moment word, you know the one. The one that whenever you play, like, a 360 game on Xbox Live for, like, more than 5 seconds, you hear someone say the word, and it's like, I remember when I was a kid, I heard it, and it was like, okay, well, I guess he just forgot that he was live streaming, you know? And he was playing, like, Xbox 360 instead, because it's so fucking common, like, when people play, like, live games, that they just throw that shit around. And also, he was, like, kind of a Filthy Frank connoisseur, so you know that, like, he's kind of on the edgy part. He used to mimic Filthy Frank's voice, you know? And there's nothing necessarily wrong with liking Filthy Frank, but he does... I think content creators like the old dubstep, the old iDubbbz and Filthy Frank give off this air, this miasma that can lead to people falling down, like, saying, like, racist shit and maybe not even understanding, like, how bad it is, because it was hip at the time to be incredibly cold, you know? If you watched iDubbbz or Filthy Frank back in, like, you know, 2013 to 2016 or 17, then you know what I mean. You know, like, iDubbbz doing bad unboxing and Filthy Frank doing all the shit that he used to do. Like, the idea is that it was a character and it was supposed to be funny that they're doing crazy shit. But that ended up translating to 16-year-olds saying the N-word with the hard R, you know, or the F slur, or both if you watched iDubbbz, you know what I mean? And I don't mean to preach, because I was one of those edgy fucking teens that did the exact same shit. Yeah, it seemed like he actually gave a shit for his mistakes. He didn't come out with a fucking ukulele. Which person? Which one are you talking about in particular? I don't really remember any of them doing apology videos, except for maybe iDubbbz. But iDubbbz's apology video was more like, I hate my audience, and I kind of understand that. PewDiePie? Yeah, no, I get that. It might be kind of controversial to say. Yeah, like, I think he was just, like, fucking playing Xbox Live and didn't realize what he was saying. You know what I mean? Like, he was playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and, like, he did the exact same shit that people at that era used to do. You know? And people still do at this point. You know? He didn't come out and start getting... He didn't adopt a... or he didn't come out with his 2 pugs and started going like, oh, Maya, I said an oopsie. How am I going to apologize to this? It's a very big, grave mistake. You know? And then he's like, how's it going, guys? My name is PewDiePie, and I said the N-word. Brofist. Oh, I was battling some fucking barrels around, if you know what I mean. And I let him have it. Yeah, he used to mimic like Filthy Frank's voice. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like he used to talk like casually about how he liked Filthy Frank, and every time when he wanted to make fun of people, his response was like he would do like this. Oh, what if you did? Like, it would be like he'd kind of like mimic how Filthy Frank sounds, you know? You knew that he was a viewer of the content, you know what I mean? And I'm not preaching. When I was a kid, I used to watch his shit, but I will admit that it definitely did make me do and say some shit that I should not have, you know? Like, that era did definitely put out a miasma that was probably overall not good. I think he also collabed with iDubbbz. PewDiePie? I don't remember. There may have been videos with PewDiePie, like iDubbbz went to a couple of cons, but I don't think it was like, you know, one video. It's definitely not the cake videos, right? I don't think so. For Content Cop. Yeah, I don't remember that. I think we're in an era where, like, I don't really want to be the kind of guy that engages in that shit anymore. The audience wasn't the proper one. I'm not sure what you mean. But yeah, no, I think you could definitely tell. Well, like, to be honest, you watch that N-word shit with PewDiePie, that clip of him doing that, his immediate reaction is like, oh fuck, like, I fucked up. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people become incredibly performative of it, and I think, honestly, people just know that you're being a shithead. Like, people can tell when you're being fake, especially if you're overly performative about it. And since the whole, like... the whole, like, persona of YouTuber is to be, like, incredibly over the top. People aren't used to acting normally, you know what I mean? Like, they can't act like I'm actually sad. Instead, they act like, cartoonishly, like, over-dramatic, you know what I mean? I believe most of them were trying to mock those kinds of behaviors, but when your audience is immature children and kids, they start copying. Yes, well, okay. That was the shtick. Yeah, and that became a problem, for sure. We know, like, I know post Filthy Frank that, like, the original, like, idea of it was, isn't it funny that this guy's a fucking dickhead? You know what I mean? But because you know, 13-year-olds watched it, they were like, oh, it's just funny to say the N-word. That's what the result became. And I think that's why, like, iDubbbz, like, after he got kind of better, was like, I hate my audience. Like, I fucking hate them. Because all they want me to do is to say the N-word and, you know, do some, like, toxic shit. And I wanna do, like, other shit than that. You know? I watch iDubbbz's more recent stuff, and it's honestly more, like, kind of on the opposite side, where it's like, okay, y'all are, like, fucking crazy now. You know? And I think that sort of, like, character arc and development is more endearing than someone performatively being like, how am I going to respond to this? I made an oopsie. I will admit, though, that, like, I don't know if iDubbbz has fully acknowledged the fact that he is kind of the reason why that stuff happened. You know? Like, I watched those videos where he was like, hey, when I was apologizing in, like, the Jinx fight or whatever fight he went to, he was apologizing to Jinx. He was apologizing to a handful of people he was incredibly rude to. But the entire time he was more so ragging on the audience that he fostered. But I think he doesn't acknowledge that because he has... Then he would have to acknowledge that his audience is kind of a reflection of how he was when he was a shithead. And I'm not sure if he's ready to accept that. Or at least he hasn't conveyed or convinced me 100% that he has accepted it. I think he's more so kind of like going like, I hate my audience, I hate my audience. And it's like, okay, but you don't realize it's like, you foster that community. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that you've grown from it. But I think you do need to definitely acknowledge the fact that, like, hey, I kind of fucked up. Like, I did actually do, like, a negative harm to the overall community. You know? And I don't want to get super political, but it, like, that was definitely the era where younger people were starting to get into more, like, alt-right shit, you know? There were, like, fucking, there were polls that were like, yeah, strangely enough, kids believe in a lot of, like, right-leaning shit now, and we're not really sure why. And I'm like, well, it might be because, you know, you got, like, content creators thinking it's funny to do the shit that they did. You know what I mean? And if you were in on the joke, it didn't conform, it didn't turn you into that. But younger kids, if the problem was younger kids returning further to the right, it's probably definitely because of the 4chan like humor that was being, you know, that was given a platform. And I do think it would help if that content creator actually did kind of acknowledge that. I think his way of coping with it is doing the opposite, which is like, you know, critiquing like more racist people on like TikTok and shit. But like, you know, I don't think he's outwardly said, like, yeah, I kind of contributed to this. Although, to be honest, I'm definitely not, like, watching all of his, like, you know, all of his YouTube videos. However, I will admit that the ones that I have seen are of high quality. Even his older, edgier shit, I think, in some aspects has, things that are well made about it. It's just more so the result was kind of a net negative, at least in my opinion. Last one I saw was this video about Ethan from H3H3. I honestly don't know the drama with H3H3. I kind of didn't like his videos. I think okay, so like when he was newer, he had like those weird videos where, you know, you had the Ethan Bradbury stuff. I watched that, and I enjoyed that. But once he started, like, having a podcast, I was like, I kind of don't give a shit about this guy's opinion enough to really, like, care. That might seem like kind of a controversial thing, because I know that Ethan Neela for a while was seen as, like, prominent figures that, had a little bit of sway. But I just didn't give a shit. I really didn't. It's not really what I came to see. I came here for funny haha videos. Honestly, like, that genre of content... Oh, fuck me. What was that? Do I dare try to, like, throw something at that? I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna throw a candy bar at you. This might be stupid. Alright, you're just there. Okay. Okay, well, that wasn't that bad. Oh, okay. Maybe the rain scares off the bees. Maybe that's something to consider next time. Oh, another honeycomb. Ethan's wife is from Israel, and I believe they were doing podcasts about the war going on. Oh, so it was probably like pro-Israel shit, then, I imagine. And that's probably what led to the controversial beliefs. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I don't want to dispose my opinions about that because regardless as to which side you're on, there are ramifications. I think it's more popular to believe the other way than what H3 were talking about. But I think like companies, corporate interests, etc. believe how Ethan and Neela were. So it seems like regardless as to what your beliefs are, there's always going to be something that stabs you in the back or something that, like, you know, gets you at that, regardless as to what. But I think if you know who I am, you would probably know where I stand on that. I think it's fairly reasonable to put 2 and 2 together with that. I think the main drama wasn't about Ethan's opinion, it was how he would debate with people. He just insulted and didn't want to make real arguments. Oh yeah, that's like the worst way to debate people. Like, okay, to be honest, debates tend to be kind of like shows of display. It doesn't necessarily matter who's right or wrong. It's about making the opposition seem stupid. It's kind of a conquest type of deal. But if it's easier to make the opposition seem stupid, you know, you may convert people over to your side. You know, I think that's kind of why people do debates. You know. But if it's all just going to be ad hominem, you know, then it kind of just turns into, like, blood sports, and I don't think people really care about that. I don't know if those kingberries are good or not. I'm not going to bother with them. But yeah, I mean, if Ethan just doesn't make real arguments, then, like, what's the fucking point of dealing with him, with debating him? But again, I don't know anything about this. This is all just coming off of, like, off the top of the dome. I don't really care too much about Ethan's, like, podcast or whatever. It just never appealed to me. Funny Meme Guy to me was not really like, oh, I should watch a podcast of his shit. You know what I mean? I never was like, oh yeah, let's tune into that shit. Why is everyone saying Trump passed away? 'Cause he disappeared for a few days. He's usually on camera all the time. He disappeared for a way. I think what I heard is that he had a medical issue and that he's fine, but everyone was kind of quiet about it because they didn't really like wanna break the silence. But he's fine. He didn't die. Yeah, don't get your hopes up. The guy's still around.